YouTube, what up? RIP my nigga Rich Homie Quan. He passed away through an overdose, and it hit me different because multiple reasons. First of all, RIP my cousin. He passed away a couple weeks ago. He from Chicago. We really ain't that close, but we used to. We had a couple of times that we met, like we was in the same, at the same place or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But he passed away through an overdose. My nigga Ryan. But it just, this overdose shit, Rich Homie Quan was number 34 years old. Not even 35, it just, young. And a part of me is like, bro, come on, my nigga, like, it's two perspectives. One perspective, come on, my nigga, you better than that. You know these drugs got a deadly effect. I know you got experience with these drugs. I know that you've been doing whatever you've been doing for a minute, and you know your limit. So why the fuck you allow this to happen? And this the other half of me like, damn, man. Maybe somebody laced it, or it might have been a little bit too strong, or just something like maybe a conspiracy theory. But at the end of the day, he gone, and it's nothing. When I think of Rich Homie Quan, it's nothing but nostalgic. He's top 10 throughout Atlanta to me, period. I reacted. I did a reaction to the list. I think it was Complex, who did a ranking of the top 50 rappers. He was like in the 30s, and I'm like, that's way too low. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though Young Thug did have a way better career than him commercial-wise, Rich Homie Quan was that dude during his time. And what time am I talking about? I'm talking about No Label 2, lean era She Keef, like auto-tune heavy She Keef, like mumble rapping She Keef, like post Finally Rich era. Like, you got Back from the Dead 2, you got Almighty Soul, you got Bang 2, like that era. And then you got Migos with No Label 2, Rich Nigga Timeline, that Streets on Lock. You got that, there was him and Migos, Rich Homie Quan was collabing. And around that time I was in the 7th and 8th grade. And Rich Homie Quan was in my top 5 list of rappers. It was like Snoop, Migos, Rich Homie Quan, Gucci, and that's like She Keef and Cole. Those were my niggas when I look back at that time period, those were my niggas, straight up. Like, if you saw me with some headphones on, majority of the time that's what I was listening to. And a little bit of Kevin Gates, because that was kind of when he was coming up too. But Rich Homie Quan was different. His sound had he was ahead of his time, truth be told. And I wouldn't say he was blackballed, but it's just that if you don't capitalize on the momentum that you got, or if you fuck up to a point that you disappear for a little bit, or you kind of back off after you do something that might make people look at you like, and you just lay back and shit, people will move on from you quick, and it's hard to get that buzz back unless you either have crazy success or you have a publicity or an antic that outweighs everything else. You know what I'm saying? So he was never able to, even though he put out some newer music like The Coma. I remember the first mixtape or album that I first heard, Back to the Basics, I got the CD from the Blunt House on God Springs, and I was listening to that. My favorite song from there had to be Gamble and what that shit was called. I just had that shit pulled up. Hold up. Back in, yeah. I'm like, okay, Rich Homie Quan back. But prior to that, the first mixtape that, of course, I was introduced to him by Type of Way. That shit hit the streets, run. That shit was everywhere. And I remember listening to that shit on the radio and thinking in my head, like, me being a dumbass, like, what is this song called? What is it called? It's called Type of Way, dumbass. But my mom like, what is it called? But when I finally did, I was bumping that shit non-stop. Non-stop. And then all of a sudden I got introduced to I'm telling y'all my timeline. So I promise I'll never stop going in, which is probably my favorite and his best project ever. Period. Like he had everything in the chokehold with that goddamn album or mixtape. You got let me see this shit. You got They Don't Know, a classic intro, phenomenal. You got, cash money, ew. All I think is cash money. That shit was hard at the time, but I don't got that shit downloaded. You know what I'm saying? Get the Fuck Out My Face was a classic song with Young Thug. I don't have that shit downloaded, but it's a classic. Man of the Year, one of the best songs on the tape. I fuck with you, girl. It's alright, but I don't got it downloaded, but it's a classic song. What would you do for some paper? That's probably my favorite song off the tape. You got 1000, great song. I got it downloaded. Blah blah blah. It's when I'm in the mood, I listen to it. Walk through, classic, download it. Make That Money, kind of a filler. Come and Go, great song. I got it downloaded. Everything else is kind of like a filler song, but that whole tape right there was just pinnacle to me. And I just remember bumping that shit, going to practice, around the bus, going to games and shit like that, waiting on my people to pick me up from school, outside in the morning, so I remember all that shit. And then I got introduced to Still Going In, Investment, Still Going In, Better Watch What You Saying, Differences. The difference between me and you is I'm gonna get money and try to make me some. Niggas ain't gonna do nothing, that song right there. Choices. I know Can't Judge Her was a good song, but I really ain't like that. But Choices, all I need is money. All I need, get some money. All I need. Like, I'm a real Rich Homie Quan fan. Like, even though I ain't listened to a lot of his newer shit, I'm just a fan of good music and great music. I got a lot of old shit on my phone and my playlist on Apple Music. You know what I'm saying? And his album Coma. My favorite song on there, Only Child. Shit, great song. If you ain't know Only Child is, y'all make sure y'all check that shit out. But he was a great artist. And then I go in on every song. This one I got to the 9th grade at McClellan. It's like the first half. Cause I was still a Rich Homie Quan fan. Like, he was one of my main guys still at this time. So I was still going back to his old shit. I believe this was his first mixtape. I go in on every song. You could tell it's raw. And this one of the songs he first started recording and shit, but it was still raw. You got let me see, he got that shit on here. Numbers. What we say? 2 times shit. Man, I graduated to a 9. Got another 9 as a half. And half of something as a whole. And the streets I learned about math. Cause the school ain't teach me hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, I fuck with Rich Homie Quan. And this leads to my other point. Now that I talk about the music and stuff like that, I'm seeing a lot of posts like, people be thinking everybody think they just the realest motherfucker out here breathing, right? And I used to be a victim of it too, as far as I used to think like this. So I saw a female post on Twitter or Facebook like, man, y'all motherfucker ain't listen to Quan. I ain't seen his music on y'all stories or nothing. Like, now y'all all of a sudden y'all want to post his music, talk about his music X, Y, and Z. Or, man, he's just a rapper. Y'all need to stop giving a fuck. Cause let me point out the rapper aspect. Now, if you got a favorite rapper and he passed away, unfortunately, and you upset about it. You upset about it because, or more so because of the music itself and the impact that it had on your life, more than the person. We'll just keep it real. It's the music more so the person. So the music is that artist work. That's his life's work. So that means his life's work is important and has greatness to whoever person that feels affected by his death. So that means he succeeded in life. And a lot of people may envy that. Because we'll say somebody's lost cousin or something that passed away they ain't seen in 10 years. They're not gonna feel as sympathy. They're not gonna feel that much sympathy as they would as their favorite artist. You get me? If you follow me, you dig? Or you got people that be like, it ain't about, cause we all know what happened with Rich Homie Quan career. You know, he kind of, Rich Gang with the, oh yeah, my favorite, I can't believe I forgot to mention that, with Young Thug and Rich Gang and shit like that. My favorite song off there was War Ready. You want war? We ready, we got gun, plug machete. Then they had like an unreleased mixtape too, but that shit was all on Spinrilla and shit like that, Audio Mac and shit. That shit ain't on Apple Music, but that shit was like the last of the Rich Homie Quan era. Then Young Thug, Young Thug took off like a rocket, you know what I mean? But cause they kind of fell out. I wish they would have got back together. But Young Thug been locked up for the past 3 years. But anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, I'm a fan of great music. Even though I don't listen to a lot of Rich Homie Quan newer material, best believe I got all his old shit that I love still downloading my shit, and whenever it come on, I bump that shit. So people just be trying to come up with people just be trying to be real and shit like that. And sometimes you trying to be real, when you try to be real all the time on social media, it really, if you run into a nigga like me that can see through this shit, I'ma see through it. But y'all let me know how y'all feel about it. What's y'all favorite Rich Homie Quan songs? I'm not even talking about the mainstream shit like Hit the Quan, not Hit the Quan, but Ooh 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 and Lifestyle. Everybody know them songs. Type of Way, everybody know them songs. I'm talking about the real shit, like Memories. Oh my God, I forgot about that shit earlier. Memories. That's probably one of my favorite Rich Homie Quan songs ever. Oh, my memory, thank God what it did to me. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, that shit was hard. And then it was another song, it was called Fits. And it was this tape when I was in the 9th grade, first semester of 9th grade. It was called like, if you ever thought I was stop? He was laying. It was a mixtape. He was laying on his back. He had his shirt off. And that was like the Rich Gang era, so he had that red patch in his But one of my favorite song of that album or tape was 15 Shots. 15 shots to the house, 15 shots in the pavement. You know what I'm saying? That shit was hard as fuck. But it's one song that I'm thinking about right now that I ain't thinking about for a minute. Bro, if I can find it, I'm gonna put it in the damn video. But if I can't, it's like an old song, like back around. He had the afro and shit. R.I.P. Rich Homie Quan, one of my favorite rappers ever. Man, y'all say no to drugs, man. Weed is cool, liquor is cool if you can control it, but these pills and all this shit, man, a lot of shit be laced with fentanyl and it just ain't worth it, man. Like, I know people be going through shit, depression. I go through shit. You know what I'm saying? As a man, you gon' go through shit. Even, women. You know what I mean? But, and like I said, ain't nothing wrong with having a little, a little edible or something or a little, but just don't abuse it, bro. Once the night over with, you gotta shake back and, and get back to the grind. But, man. Shit, I be smooth, man. I'm out of here.